Hello, Days of Our Lives fans, and welcome back to Days Drama Digest. Today, we're diving into a tangled web of deceit, manipulation, and emotional conflict surrounding the latest developments in the saga of Marin, Chad, and the ever-dangerous Clyde. If you've been wondering whether Marin will finally admit the truth to Chad, that she's not Abigail, and whether Chad will become the hero who helps reunite Marin with her mother, you're in the right place. Let's explore the twists and turns of this captivating storyline and discover if Marin's long-hidden secrets will finally come to light, and what Chad's next move will be. Marin is walking a dangerous tightrope. She's living a lie, posing as Chad's beloved and deceased wife, Abigail, while harboring a growing sense of regret and guilt. The reason behind her deception is as heartbreaking as it is dangerous. Clyde holds her family's fate in his hands. Specifically, Clyde has taken control of the Grease family matriarch, Marin's mother, and is using her as leverage to manipulate both Marin and her brother, Mark. Clyde's demands are cruel and unrelenting. In order for Marin and her siblings to have any hope of seeing their mother again, Marin must convince Chad that she truly is Abigail. But the stakes are higher than just keeping up a charade. Clyde's ultimate goal is far more sinister. He wants to get his hands on the DiMera fortune, and he's using Marin as his pawn to achieve it. For Marin, every conversation with Chad is a delicate performance. She has to maintain her facade and try to rekindle the love Chad once had for Abigail, a love that was intense, passionate, and full of shared history. The pressure is unbearable, but she knows that if she fails, Clyde's wrath could bring even more pain to her and her family. It's not just a matter of deceiving Chad for her own gain, it's a matter of life and death for her mother. Despite her growing feelings for Chad, Marin is trapped in her own web of deceit. She doesn't just have to fool Chad into thinking she's Abigail. Clyde's manipulative plan goes even further. Marin needs to convince Chad to marry her, sealing her place in his life and, ultimately, giving Clyde access to the DiMera fortune. But here's where things get complicated. Marin's heart isn't as cold as Clyde's. She's starting to have serious doubts about her actions. Every time she looks into Chad's eyes, she feels the weight of her deception crushing her. The guilt of lying to someone as kind-hearted and loving as Chad is eating away at her, and viewers have already seen moments where Marin struggles with her conscience. She knows that what she's doing is wrong, but the stakes are too high for her to stop. Chad, on the other hand, is torn as well. He's beginning to feel drawn to Abigail, seeing glimpses of the woman he once loved so deeply. But something feels off, and it's not just Chad who's noticing the cracks in Marin's performance. Marin's deception hasn't gone unnoticed. Kristen and Steve, both with their own complicated histories with Abigail, are becoming more suspicious by the day. Kristen has always had sharp instincts when it comes to spotting a lie, and something about Abigail just doesn't sit right with her. Similarly, Steve's gut is telling him that this woman isn't the real Abigail. Together, the two are on the hunt for the truth, quietly investigating Marin's behavior and looking for any evidence that could confirm their suspicions. Kristen is particularly dangerous for Marin, as she's always had a knack for sniffing out other people's weaknesses. She's already been circling Marin, looking for any flaws in her story, and it's only a matter of time before she exposes the truth. Marin knows she's being watched, and that only adds to her growing sense of panic. How long can she keep up this charade before Kristen or Steve blows the whole thing wide open? Amidst all the lies and manipulation, one thing is becoming increasingly clear: Marin has real feelings for Chad. It's a complication she never saw coming. Her original plan, forced on her by Clyde, was to simply play the role of Abigail and complete the mission. But as time goes on, Marin finds herself falling for Chad in a way she never expected. Her feelings are creating a conflict that could spell disaster for Clyde's plan. Will Marin's growing affection for Chad make her confess the truth before things spiral further out of control? She's starting to realize that Chad deserves the truth, no matter the consequences. But with Clyde holding her mother's life over her head, confessing could mean losing everything: her family, her freedom, and her chance at a future with Chad. This brings us to the central question: will Chad be the one to save Marin and her family from Clyde's clutches? Viewers know that Chad is a man of resources and compassion. He has the wealth and influence to take on Clyde, but more importantly, Chad has the heart to help those in need. If Marin confesses the truth, if she admits that she's not Abigail and reveals the horrific situation she's been forced into, there's a strong chance that Chad will rise to the occasion. Chad's love for Abigail was profound, and even though Marin isn't his wife, Chad's compassion might push him to help her. After all, Chad has never been one to turn his back on someone in need, especially someone who reminds him so much of Abigail. With his vast resources and connections, Chad could help track down Marin's mother and rescue her from Clyde's grasp. But the question remains: will Chad discover the truth on his own, or will Marin find the courage to come clean before it's too late? If Chad learns of her deception from someone else, like Kristen or Steve, the betrayal might be too much for him to forgive. But if Marin takes the risk and confesses, Chad might see her as a victim, just like he is, and choose to fight for her family. Meanwhile, Clyde is looming larger and larger as a dangerous presence in Salem. His grip on the Green family, especially Marin, is tightening, and he's not about to let go without a fight. Clyde has his eyes set on the DiMera fortune, and anyone who stands in his way will face the consequences. With Kristen and Steve closing in on the truth, and Chad potentially learning about Marin's deception, Clyde's plans could soon unravel. But if there's one thing we know about Clyde, it's that he won't go down easily. He's ruthless, and as the pressure builds, he may become even more dangerous, especially to Marin and her family. The situation between Marin, Chad, and Clyde is rapidly approaching a breaking point. Will Marin finally tell Chad the truth and beg for his help in saving her mother? Or will Clyde's manipulation push her to keep up the charade until it's too late? And what will happen when Chad learns that the woman he's growing closer to isn't Abigail, but someone who's been lying to him all along? The stakes have never been higher, and the drama is only getting more intense. We hope you enjoyed it and look forward to sharing more with you in the future. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. TV Days Drama Digest for more updates on Days of Our Lives.